What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So here we have the full playthrough of the recent released treasure map, LUCCI KAKU STUSSY. You can go ahead and super evolve your Lucci upon reaching 2 million or 2.5 million points to get all those super evolution skulls. And remember that this Lucci does super evolve into a different typing. Currently he is quick. When he super evolves, he goes into an int character, so make sure you have two different copies, so you can have one for the int focused unit and one for the quick unit. So this is my team that I'm currently using against the Intrusion boss battle. One thing that I did kind of overlook, and I didn't think was going to be much of an issue, but turned out to be an issue, was the effect that the enemy applies on your crew that turns your recovery mechanics into damage instead. Now, that can be a little bit of an issue when I was using the host ship with the upgrades, getting a lot of end of turn healing. I was actually losing a lot of HP, and I did lose the first run due to that. So I ended up switching the ship for Zunisha because I'm using a full cerebral team anyway. However, you do have a lot of healing mechanics. Crocodile does have end of turn healing in his captain ability, which can be a bit frustrating. You've got Kobe, when you launch his special, also does 10,000 healing, so you just have to be a bit cautious. And when you activate pinch healing mechanics, which is why you see I hit goods and greats a lot of the time when I'm using this team, just to make sure that I'm not actually going to die. It can be a bit of a problem. Luckily, we do have Nami Karina with their damage thresholding effect. Not only are they there for that, but they also just remove a lot of the enemy gimmicks. Like, Nami Karina are phenomenal in this content. They also provide an orb boost, which is great. So it just kind of works out, you know. So this is a really solid team that gets the job done. Lucci's basically here because he's a high point booster. It's working pretty good so far, and in terms of damage, I don't think it's going to be a problem, but that healing into damage effect definitely could be an issue moving forward. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on to our first Battle Rush boss is against Monkey D. Luffy at age 70. This is the team that I kind of talked about in my own team video, using Carrot as the captain so we can just kind of ignore the damage threshold on the enemy side of the field. Because the enemy does state that if their threshold is removed, they apply negative effects to the crew, so we're just going to ignore it rather than just remove it. We've got a couple of key support characters as well. We've got Odin and Roger on Carrot to give us an attack boost, a major attack boost to our quick slashes. And then on Raise Max, I've also got the Zoro to give color affinity to slasher characters. You could also use Ace, that would also work probably better, honestly. And then we used Zoro on stage 2 for wave clearing and giving us a really good chain locking effect on the final stage. No issues with this team moving forward though. Moving on to the secondary team versus Robin. I have changed things slightly on the team just to make it a little bit more damage output. So I ended up switching out the support of Nami to remove Despair, which was on Sanji. And I've just put Flampe instead to give our side characters an orb boost so that I only have to use one special on the last stage. You could also just use the Garp special, which gives you an attack boost. That works fine. But we're using a couple of key supports of Rayleigh attached to Luffy to remove Despair. We have Quick Whitebeard attached to Ace to remove Despair. Zoro for the wave clearing, and that's just kind of how it works because Luffy resists the bind and special reverse, so we do have to remove the Despair. If you're using the double hybrid of like 6+ and 6-star Gear 5 Luffy, that would allow you to ignore all of the gimmicks, but it can be a bit frustrating using hybrid teams sometimes, but this team works pretty well. On to the third Battle Rush boss versus Roronoa Zoro. We're going to be using Arlong crew as our main captains with the ex-Drake from the recent released Kizuna Clash. Really good unit, and they work really well together here. I am not even using any wave clearing characters because Arlong Crew actually does it by himself. With his super swap, you can do damage to the opponent, and we can actually use that to just wave clear, which is super good. So we can actually dedicate the rest of our crew slots to actual point boosters rather than using some unboosted units instead. Remember, you do have to have one of every type on the crew to fulfill conditions for Arlong's captain ability, and we can just use the Arlong special, one of the Drake specials, which gives us an all boost and the full board of quick slots, and then we can just go ahead and kill Zoro. So a pretty easy fight that uses a full team of point boosters. And now we get to a really frustrating fight versus Lilith the Evil. This is the 4th Battle Rush boss, and this team, I'm using a couple of different teams for this one. This is just one that I am showing here that does get the job done. And it does use Doflamingo and Sugar as a friend captain, which I wasn't overly excited about doing. But Dofi and Sugar really help in this content. If you don't use it, you have to really run some weird kind of teams. So there is another team that I showcased in my video yesterday with Izo as the captain. That team does work, and it is a little finicky, and it doesn't have as much damage as what this team does. This team is a little slower though, but it does guarantee the win, which is really nice. Not only is there just multiple different things here, there's 7 turns of the special bind, which Dofi deals with, but normally very annoying. Despair on the captains, which is annoying, but we've got Buggy Crew to deal with that, the cross guild. And then there's also the barrier, there's the resilience. There's just lots of annoying gimmicks with lots of turns attached to it. So if you're not using a really weird gimmicky team, you're probably using a really slow team. So I don't really think there's a good middle ground for this fight. And then we get to the final boss against S Shark. So this is a little bit of an obscure team once again. We're going to be using almost a full Cerebral team, but we're using Whitebeard. So the main reason why Whitebeard is here is because of the support that we can have attached to him, which is that Whitey Bay support, which allows us to remove 1 turn of Bind, which works well with Kobe to remove all turns of Bind on stage 2, but it also removes 1 turn of Barrier, which works very well with Nami Karina to remove additional 2 turns of Barrier. Just all of these characters coming together mainly due to the support of that Whitey Bay. So with that, we can actually remove all of the gimmicks on this stage aside from that burn. So due to the burn debuff, we don't want to really hit too many perfects because there is a pain debuff that is applied to us on the final stage. So we're trying to conserve as much HP as possible. However, on the last stage, you only really need to do 2 different actions of the Atlas special and the Pythagoras special. So realistically, as long as you've got enough HP to use 2 specials on the final stage, that's really all you need for this team. We don't even need to use the LUCCI special, which is really nice. And then on the last stage, as I said, Atlas to remove the Orb Boost. I do use the specials in a bit of a wrong order. I should have used Atlas first, and then go ahead and use the Pythagoras special. But at the end of the day, we were still able to get the job done. The Corazon and Law support, clutch for getting us the strength slot on Nami Karina, so that we don't have to worry about any stupid slot change or, making a full Cerebral team to use the Atlas superclass. Doesn't even matter at the end of the day, as this team is able to get it done. But that is going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.